Okay, I was in the store the other day and I saw that Emily had a new iron and she had it out and it looked very interesting. So we talked for a little bit and I realized that she had ordered this from the company where I get my commercial irons that I have just loved and I bring to class. And I was real excited and real intrigued. Plus, my standby iron from this company had blown up. It's a long story. That was not the iron's fault. And I was looking to replace it. So this had a real nice price on it. So that's what I got. I got one. Well, I brought it home thinking, well, I'll plug this in and, then I'll take the other and this will be my backup iron. I love it so much, it's now become my primary iron, and I've taken the backup one, and I think I may end up getting another one of these because they're so good. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's kind of a new system, but it really works really well. I've just finished my Deb's dresses and all my Deb stuff just past Thanksgiving, and I've used this iron for all of it, and I really like it. So, just as a point of reference, I thought it'd be fun to take a little tour of it. And this is the iron itself, and when it comes on top. Let's see, let's do it like this. It comes on top of this boiler thing right there. If you can see this, there you are. And you can see the little outline for the iron. Well, you can put this whole thing on the ironing board if you want to, but that's just way too much stuff for me. So what I like to do is I like to take this little stand or guard or whatever you want to call it and put this on my ironing board. This goes down below, and it's got a nice long cord here that I've just it's a lot longer than my other cord. And so that's how I'm operating it. The first thing you do to turn it on, and hopefully you can see here, as you can see, you got an on and the iron and steam. And I don't know why anybody would just do this, use the iron, but you can do that if you want to. So you just, this little thing switches around and you just turn that on. There's the on, that means it's got power, and that means it's ready to steam. It takes about 12 minutes to kind of warm up. That's the one bad thing. And this is the button. When this is on, then that means that you need to fill it full of water. So let me show you how to do that, because it's a little different than how you'd normally do it, and you don't have to do it that often. Then above here you have, right here you have a button that'll come on. That's the thermostat for the iron yourself. And then here's your dial to set your temperature, so you can set it for whatever you want. Pull this out so you can kind of see a little bit. Okay, when you get ready, this little red light is on, and you get ready to fill it with water. You turn this to off down here, right there, and you have this knob over here, and this is hot and it's under pressure. Lots of times what I like to do is I like to steam everything out of the iron. When this little light, the little red light, goes on right down here, I will just give an extra steam to the iron so it kind of cleans it out, turn it off, and then you can unscrew this. I'm not going to unscrew this right now. With this unit, you have a little funnel. You stick it in here, you put your water in there. This is real important. The instructions say to put in a liter, or about 3 cups of water. That's real important because this will take more than 3 cups, and when it does, it starts spitting. So if your iron is spitting, that means you've got too much water in the boiler. If I have, for example, I have this ruffle on this jacket, and I want it to be a little bit more tame, but I want it to stand up nice and straight. This is silk, so the thing I can do is I can literally hit this with steam And this this has a nice crisp feeling to it now. I mean, it's really lovely. Say, for example, I want this to curve down. I can just hit it with steam, curve it down, and it'll just stay nice and curved. It'll roll there. This is one of the things you can do with steam that you can't do with anything else. Another thing I like to do is I may want just a nice soft roll for a hem here. And this makes a nice, pretty, soft roll. See that pretty soft roll? Now if I want that to be nice and sharp, just give it a little bit more pressure. These are just now, look and see how nice and crisp that is. These are truly wonderful machines. You don't really realize what you're missing until you have a fine piece of equipment. It's kind of like you don't miss the color red if you don't know it's not there. Here is what the machine looks like when right here is my button after I've turned it off and I turned it back on. That button will light up. It takes about 12 minutes to warm up, but it's really a remarkable machine. It does not have a safety switch on it, which means it's on all day long. If you run off and go visit your daughter and their son-in-law or something like that, it'll be on if you don't turn it off. So, but the other side of that is that if you're sewing and you're 20 minutes at your machine and 10 minutes or 10 seconds at the iron is always on and it's always hot. That part I really This is how I have this set up, and this is what I recommend you do. I recommend you put the iron on your ironing board like this, and you put the boiler on the floor below it. Under the ironing board is great, or wherever it's most convenient for you. The boiler doesn't really have to be on top of the ironing board. That's how the unit comes when you get it out of the box. But this is much more convenient and much easier to use. I cannot say enough nice things about this. I've had this iron now for about 3 weeks, and I'm really, really loving it. The only thing I recommend is that you do not put in too much water. It'll cause it to spit. That's about it.